I love to read. So we go to the library once a week. I figured out the best book in the library was the Reader's Digest. So in '65, January, there's an article about Oak Island. And I turned the first page and I was lost.
Rick Lagina's body is a temple, but the holy water is dark roast coffee. For 12 seasons, he's been digging, but what's been keeping him going? Caffeine. A whole lot of it. We've analyzed the footage to calculate the shocking total. Tonight, the caffeine counter reveals the secret ingredient to the world's longest treasure hunt. We all watch the show every week as the team drills deeper into the island's secrets. We see the massive machinery, the high-tech scanners, and the occasional shiny button pulled from the mug. What we don't see are the grueling, soul-crushing hours behind the cameras. The reality of this treasure hunt isn't all gold dance moments and top-pocket finds, it's a miserable, muddy slog. The production schedule for The Curse of Oak Island is a beast. Filming takes place for roughly 100 to 120 days each year, and it's not during a pleasant Nova Scotia summer. No, they're out there during the harsh, unforgiving fall and winter months. The days are short, the wind whips across the island like a razor, and the work is physically and mentally exhausting. We're talking about freezing rain, ankle-deep mud that tries to steal your boots with every step, and a dampness that gets into your bones. Out there, coffee isn't a luxury. It's the only thing standing between you and becoming a human icicle. A typical day on the island can last 10, 12, sometimes even 14 hours, filled with back-breaking digs, tense meetings, and the constant pressure of a multi-million-dollar operation resting squarely on your shoulders. So let's do some math. Taking a conservative average of 110 filming days per season across 12 long seasons, Rick Lagina has been on that island actively searching for approximately 1,320 days. That's over 3.5 years of his life spent in a cold, damp, and mysterious purgatory. Now, let's factor in the human element. No one can maintain that level of intense focus and unwavering energy without a little help. While we never see a Starbucks or a Dunkin' cup in his hand, gotta avoid that product placement, the man is a machine. Fan forums and production insiders have long speculated that the entire operation runs on coffee, with Canada's iconic Tim Hortons being the likely supplier just across the causeway. Forget the Ark of the Covenant. The real Canadian treasure is a well-made double-double. It's the lifeblood of any cold-weather work site in the Great White North. To get to the bottom of this, we have to make a reasonable, conservative estimate. A person working long, cold hours would likely consume a steady stream of hot coffee just to stay warm and alert. So let's put Rick on a schedule of 4 cups of coffee per day. And let's be clear, this isn't some wild guess. This is a baseline survival requirement.
Think about it. Cup number 1, the morning ritual. This is the 7 a.m. cup. It's for waking up, facing the cold, and firing up the optimism circuits before another day of finding absolutely nothing. Cup number 2, the mid-morning push. This is the 10 a.m. cup. It's for powering through the first dig of the day and for having enough energy to keep up with Gary Drayton's "Allo enthusiasm. Cup number 3, the post-lunch slump buster. This is the 1 p.m. cup. It's a biological necessity to fight off the food coma and refocus for another afternoon of staring at mud. Cup number 4, the war room brew. This is the 4 p.m. cup. This one is crucial. It's for pushing through the final hours of filming and having enough mental fortitude to listen to another unbelievably complex Templar theory without your eyes glazing over.
This isn't excessive, it's a strategic fuel schedule. But when you multiply that by the sheer length of the Oak Island project, the numbers start to get absolutely wild. We're going to build this up season by season for a moment to show you how fast this gets out of control. Let's put season 1 on the counter. 110 days times 4 cups. That's 440 cups right off the bat. Watch the counter. Counter cup spins and stops at 440. Now let's add season 2. Another 440 cups. The grind continues. Counter cup spins and stops at 880. 2 seasons in, and he's already approaching 1,000 cups of coffee. It's a staggering amount, but we're just getting warmed up. Let's add the total for all 12 seasons. 4 cups a day for 1,320 days. Get ready. Countercup spins wildly and stops at 5,280. 5,280 cups of coffee. And that's just our baseline. That doesn't account for the all-nighters, the extra cold days, or the days when a discovery demands they work into the night. The real shock, however, comes when you look at what's inside those cups. The amount of pure caffeine is where this story goes from a fun fact to a biological marvel. Okay, 5,280 cups. It sounds like a lot, but the number itself is hard to grasp. To understand the true scale of Rick's caffeine-fueled quest, we have to break it down to its core chemical component. This is where it gets crazy. According to the USDA, an average 8-ounce cup of brewed coffee contains about 95 milligrams of caffeine. So if Rick is drinking our conservative estimate of 4 cups a day, he's consuming roughly 380 milligrams of caffeine every single day he is on that island. For context, that's just a stone's throw under the 400 milligram daily limit recommended by the FDA. He's basically redlining his body's caffeine tolerance day in and day out for months at a time. It's a good thing excessive optimism isn't a listed side effect, or he'd have found 10 treasures by now. Now let's multiply that daily intake by the total number of days spent on the hunt. Let's do it season by season first. For season 1, that's 440 cups times 95 milligrams. Add it to the bill. Counter MG caffeine spins and stops at 41,800, almost 42,000 milligrams in one season. Let's add season 2. Counter MG caffeine spins and stops at 83,600. You can see where this is going. Now let's unleash the full calculation. 380 milligrams per day, multiplied by 1,320 days. Let's fire up the big counter. This is the one that matters. Counter MG caffeine spins wildly, blurring as it climbs, and finally stops at 501,600. Whoa! That's 501,600 milligrams of pure caffeine. That's over 500,000 milligrams. To put that into perspective, that is 501.6 grams of caffeine. That's more than a pound of the pure, concentrated chemical stimulant. A pound of anything is a lot, but a pound of a powerful substance like caffeine is almost unheard of for a single person's consumption over the course of one project. But the numbers only get crazier from here. Let's convert this into more familiar and frankly more horrifying terms. That 500,000 milligram total is the equivalent of drinking nearly 5,300 cans of Red Bull. It's the same amount of caffeine you would find in over 13,000 cans of Coca-Cola. Imagine a pyramid of soda cans tall enough to rival the depth of the money pit itself. That's the kind of stimulant power we are talking about. It's the same as chugging over 8,300 shots of 5-hour energy. It's the caffeine equivalent of eating almost 7,200 Hershey's dark chocolate bars. In fact, the generally accepted lethal dose of caffeine for a human adult is around 10 grams. Rick has consumed over 500 grams. Let me repeat that. The amount of caffeine he's consumed would be enough to kill a person. Not once, not twice, 50 times over. If he tried to chug his entire Oak Island supply in one sitting, he wouldn't just find the treasure, he'd be meeting the ghosts of the people who buried it. And what about the sheer volume of liquid? 5,280 cups of coffee at 8 ounces per cup is 42,240 ounces of coffee. That's 330 gallons. You could fill a standard hot tub with that much coffee. Imagine the entire Oak Island team, after a long day of digging, relaxing in a bubbling hot tub of dark roast. It's an absurd image, but it's backed by the math. This isn't just a habit, it's a logistical operation. Someone has to be brewing pot after pot, day after day, just to keep this one engine running. The caffeine is intertwined with the very fabric of the search. So we have this unbelievable number. Over a pound of pure caffeine, 330 gallons of coffee. It's easy to laugh at the absurdity of it all. But when you dig deeper, this isn't just about coffee. It's a metaphor for the obsession itself. What kind of person dedicates their entire life, their retirement, and a 9-figure fortune to a hole in the ground? What drives someone to face constant failure, public skepticism, and the very real dangers of the island year after year? It's a belief so powerful that it borders on the supernatural, and that belief, like the human body, needs to be sustained. For Rick Lagina, every cup of coffee is a cup of hope. It's the ritual that starts the day, the warmth that cuts through the North Atlantic chill, and the jolt that sharpens the mind when looking at ancient maps. The treasure hunt isn't just a physical act of digging, it's an intense intellectual puzzle. You can't decode a 200-year-old cipher stone without at least a little bit of a caffeine buzz. The team is constantly battling not just the island's geology, but the weight of 2 centuries of history. That level of constant mental pressure is draining. The caffeine isn't just keeping him awake, it's keeping him in the game. It's the chemical companion to his unshakable faith. What most people don't realize is that the Oak Island mystery is designed to break people. The ingenious flood tunnels, the collapsing shafts, the tantalizing clues that lead nowhere. It's a system built to create despair. For over 200 years, it has worked. It has bankrupted companies and claimed the lives of 6 men. The island feeds on hope and leaves behind disappointment. The island has patience, but the island's curse may be powerful because it's never had to face a man who hasn't slept properly since 2014. To stand against that for 12 years is an act of defiance. Rick's perseverance is legendary, and while his spirit is the true engine, the caffeine is undoubtedly the oil that keeps it running. It's the difference between saying maybe tomorrow and let's drill one more hole tonight. We watch from our couches and see a man driven by a dream, but we don't feel the bite of the winter wind, the ache in the muscles after a 12-hour day, or the sting of another dead end. In that context, 4 cups a day doesn't seem like an indulgence. It seems like a necessity. It's a tool. Billy Gerhardt has his excavator, Jack Begley has his shovel, Gary Drayton has his metal detector, and Rick has a bottomless mug of high-octane Colombian rocket fuel. It's the most important tool on the island because it powers the guy in charge. His hope is the project's most valuable asset, and if it ever fades, the entire multi-million-dollar operation grinds to a halt. When you add it all up, the millions of dollars, the years of life, the pound of pure caffeine, you have to ask, has it been worth it? So far, they haven't found a treasure vault, no chests of gold, no Ark of the Covenant. They have found tantalizing clues. A lead cross, traces of gold in the water, ancient coconut fiber. These are historically significant finds, but they are not the jackpot. From a purely financial perspective, the return on investment has been abysmal. Let's look at the caffeine to treasure ratio. For the first 100,000 milligrams of caffeine consumed, what did they find? A Spanish coin. For the next 100,000 milligrams, the lead cross. For the next 100,000, a piece of wood. The ROI here is, let's be honest, terrible. But what if the treasure was never the point? Maybe the real story is the chase itself. It's about the power of a dream to inspire millions. The Curse of Oak Island is one of the most popular shows on cable television. It has turned a forgotten piece of land into a global tourist destination and has rewritten parts of North American history. Can you put a price on that? So has Rick's caffeine-fueled quest been a colossal waste or a historic success? Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe for more insane deep dives.